Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, we're going to be looking at Ariados. Now, I'm got a little bit of a soft spot for spiders, to be perfectly honest with you. I have many tarantulas, somewhere around 15, at my home. They're adorable. I love them. That means I do want to have good spider-type cards, and Ariados could be kind of useful. Now, starting off, the 70 HP is incredibly low. Maybe we get a level ball reprint at some point, which would be nice, but 70 HP is very low. And it is weak to fire. Baby Volcanion, hey Nick, comes to mind. Good news is, I suppose you will survive a power heater here. Although if your opponent uses a single steam up, in the brief period between this coming out and Volcanion EX rotating, then you will not survive that. That will be a bad result overall. You have got a retreat cost of 1, which is nice because all of your attacks are for 1 energy. Being a grass type doesn't give you a huge amount of advantages like that, but it does give you Lurantis promo. Makes all of your attacks do an extra 20 damage. That could be nice. I suppose we could also give a shout out to Leafeon GX here, and the GX attack that allowed you to just evolve all of your bench Pokemon. I don't know, maybe you use the Energy Evolution Eevee to get a turn 1 Leafeon, and then you evolve into a couple of Ariados and 3 Lurantis promos all in one go. Seems unlikely, but it is something to bear in mind, something you could consider. In terms of weakness, you are hitting weakness against Lycanroc GX, which continues to see quite a lot of play, so, you know, not a bad weakness to be hitting. But it is, as always, the attacks we are really worried about here, and our translation, as has been the case a lot lately, comes from the lovely David Hochmann himself, Mr. Limitless TCG, Mr. RappelmannTCG. He is a lovely man. We like his translations. First attack here, 1 colorless energy, 20 damage, plus 50 more for each special condition affecting your opponent's active Pokemon. Now this should immediately bring to mind Alolan Muck GX that does have a very similar attack. For a darkness and 2 colorless energy, 10 plus 70 more, rather than 20 plus 50 more. But then again, Alolan Muck is a 2-price Pokemon that does it for 3 energy. Ariados is a 1-price Pokemon that does it for 1 energy. So if you do want an attack like this, there is a very strong argument that Ariados is better than Alolan Muck. Now, Alolan Muck does have quite a lot more HP, but Alolan Muck also has a weakness to Buzzwole, which at the moment is really bad. Now, the good news is this is for colorless energy, so you could put this Pokemon into absolutely any deck whatsoever and then take advantage of this attack. That is absolutely something you could do because there's no specific energy requirement. And really here, the main number I'm looking for is 120, 2 special conditions. 20 plus 50 for each of the 2 is 120. Now, if something is weak, think Lycanroc, 120 will get an easy 1-hit KO, and then that will basically get a 2-hit KO on almost everything else. But depending on the special condition, this could really add up. So you whack a choice band on there, and that 120 becomes 150. But if one of the special conditions is poison, that puts on 10 damage between turns, so then you're up to 160. And then if it's burn puts 2 damage counters on between turns, then you flip if heads are no longer burned. So then you're up to 170, that's a KO on a Tapu Lele. But if you've got poison and burn, then you're up to 180, you're KOing a Tapu Bulu and a Drampa. For 1 colorless energy on a single prize stage 1 Pokemon. And the other thing which is very much worth bearing in mind here, these calculations I'm showing you are all based on 1 turn of burn, 1 turn of poison. If your opponent stays in the active, then they're going to take another turn of burn and poison, and then another turn, and so on and so forth. So although I'm going 180 with poison, burn, and a choice band, this could easily go up much higher and KO something like a Zoroark if you can get a 2nd turn of burn and a 2nd turn of poison. In fact, that would actually work out beautifully because Zoroark would go up to 180. If it remained burned and stayed in the active, then as it came back into your turn, it would then get KO'd immediately. and then they'd have to put up a new Pokemon to be hit again. And you might be thinking, well, Ross, that's all well and good, but what if they hit heads on burn? Do remember that in Dragonstorm we're getting Weller Volcano Park, which means your opponent can hit heads on burn, but it won't actually unburn them. This could add up very quickly. Now, it does leave us with the question of how are we getting the special conditions on there, and there is one that really stands out as a great partner here. It is Salazzle. When you evolve up into Salazzle, an ability comes in that says instant burn, instant poison on your opponent's active, and remember, they were the two special conditions that we really wanted. Because now, with a choice band, and then by the time the poison and burn comes in, that's 180. So something like a Tapu Bulu or a Dremper, or a Tapu Lele, will get instantly KO'd by that, and anything like a Buzzwole, Duskmane, Necrozma, etc. is going to have to get out the active immediately, lest they get KO'd by poison immediately after their turn ends. And all of this, single energy, single prize Pokemon. Now, of course, I should also mention here that because this is a coming into play ability, you do need to use something like Devolution Spray so that you can be chaining this ability over and over. I mean, you could use something like Super Scoop up here, but the problem is that's on a coin flip, and I'm not a big fan of coin flips. They don't make me happy. You can also use Raichu here. Now, you do only get one special condition here, but it's paralysis, so you only do 70 damage, but you do 70, and then they're paralyzed so they can't attack or retreat next turn, and then you get to hit them again, which is quite nice. Do remember in the expanded format, you got Hypnotoxic Laser, automatic poison, plus a 50% chance of sleep. And it's an item card, which means 50% chance you're doing 70 plus poison, 50% chance you're doing 120. Plus poison. And when we mention poison here, do remember you have got Seviper, who sits on the bench and does an extra 10 for poison. And you've got Burbank City Gym that does an extra 20 for poison in the expanded format. Technically, you've also got Infernape, which puts burn up to 6 damage counters rather than 2. As much fun as that would be, we're looking for consistency here, and honestly, if you're using a stage 1 to attack with a stage 1 to support, I don't think adding in a stage 2 is really going to be something you want to be doing. And like I've said, you should be hitting 180 for 1 energy if you evolve into Salazzle while you've got an energy on Ariados. You don't need the stage 2 as well there. This is hyper efficient. And there's even a second attack here which could be kind of useful. 1 grass energy, you may switch your opponent's active Pokemon with one of their bench, and then their active Pokemon is both poisoned and asleep. So whether you change or not, whatever's in the active gets poisoned and asleep. Either you poison and sleep the active, or you pull one on the bench into the active and then poison and sleep that. It's a very awkward one to phrase nicely. And again, it's for a single energy, although it is specifically for a grass energy, so it's not as techable as the first attack, although if you're playing grass or rainbow, you will be able to use it. And there's a very good chance you can strand a Pokemon in the active. A lot of people are playing Oranguru, it's got a retreat cost of 2, so you strand it in the active here, and even if they can get a Floatstone or a double colourless energy to retreat it, they've still got to flip heads on sleep, because there's a 50% chance they're going to be asleep going into their turn, meaning even if they want to retreat it, they can't. Now, in theory, this then comes back to you with special conditions. Realistically, it's going to be 1. So essentially, it should come back to you with 20 damage from poison, plus it will have 1 special condition, so you can do 70, plus another 10 for poison. There is a 25% chance it will still be asleep when it comes back to you, but they would have to flip tails going into their turn, then tails going into your turn. That's not terribly likely, but you still get the poison damage. One of the big problems with this, Ace Roller and Guzma, getting special conditions to really stick is very difficult at the moment because everyone's playing many Guzma, which is a switch, and many people are playing many Ace Roller, which if there's any damage on they can pick up, which, you know, the whole point is that you're doing damage here. Even Poison will put 10 damage on, so then Ace Roller will come in. So this second attack really is a buying time attack rather than a big KO attack. This is, I'm going to drag you into the active to save myself a bit of time, while I set up a bunch of Ariados on the bench and a couple of Salandit ready to evolve so that I can then take my big KOs. The second attack's alright, but I love the first attack here. Soon as you evolve up into Salazzle, single energy choice band, 180 damage. That's absolutely huge, ladies and gentlemen. And like I've said, you could even play the promo Lurantis here to add a bit of damage, but then you're mucking around with 3 different stage 1s, bench space becomes an issue, etc, etc, etc. The first attack is incredibly efficient, it can be teched into any deck, and it can do a fair amount of damage. It can even be its own deck with Salazzle. Second attack is a handy bonus, but nothing special. I am giving this between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. I don't think this is the best deck ever, but I do think this is slightly more than a joke deck, and I do think there are going to be people that play around with this Salazzle and a couple other Pokemon and actually get a really, really good deck going on. For that reason, I think it's worth looking at and testing. But if you disagree with me, great news, there's a comment section. Might I suggest you head on over there and go nuts, but might I please request that you be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and so on, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do just that. And do check out Wassie Plays, my Dragon Ball Super and video game channel, where we are very close to 1,000 subs, and that makes me happy. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.